exceed that by quite a bit. 23, when we purchased those blades, but the request to raise that 330,000, which is a 200,000 increase over that 100,000 we've been budgeting for. Is there something specific that we're raising that for 1 year, or is there something?
Nicole, you want to come to the front?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna stay, yeah. I thought that's what you're talking about. It's hard to hear. Okay, well, we came up with, just kind of a plan to improve the equipment over the next, 7 to 15 years. We're just hoping we can kind of try to get on a schedule to update things. What I have on that schedule right now is another mower. We need another mower, which is probably gonna run around 14,000. Around 60,000 is the price I'm looking at for that. This isn't written in stone. We have other pickups we can replace. I gave you guys the equipment list. You see how high the miles are, what we're operating on. We have a belly dump trailer we need to replace, and a semi truck. We're trying to cycle through the semi trucks instead of like doing 4 at a time or 2 at a time, just trying to do like 1 a year, just to try and keep those on the updated, I guess. And then we've got, the big thing is a chip spreader. Right now, our chip spreaders, so it's hard to find. After things break, we can be proactive and try to use that budget for fixing things before they go bad. But I know we usually have that 100,000 just designated for equipment in general, which kind of covers our breakdowns and this popped up type things. So I don't know that we want to spend clear to that right away, but I figure if we can, like, maybe, I guess you know how equipment sales works. If something comes on the market, if it's good, you got to grab it or it's gone. But that opens our possibilities to collecting
What have you seen prices for chip spreaders? Where is that range been, I guess?
around, the lower is about 140,000 is about as low as I can find for a decent one. Of course, you can spend as much as you want.
Oh, yeah.
but
That's about the bottom.
but yeah,
140 is kind
I
of
think around 140.
the
And
minimum.
but that puts us about 330 with just that list of equipment.
What you just talked about.
Yes. And if we can skip a truck or skip a trailer or whatever and just kind of hang on to some for emergencies, that'd be fine. But as you can see, so our budget from previous years went up about 100,000 from 2024 to 2025. And so we're not, we left a lot in the bank. We left a lot in the general fund. And we're hoping that with the road and bridge tax not taking the place of our funding, we're not going to need to use everything, but we're just hoping we can start using some of that general funds to start making those improvements and get us to a point where we're not having $60,000 breakdowns.
You're going to have $60,000 breakdowns no matter what. You're going to have to get used to stuff breaks down, because we cannot run brand new.
Oh,
everything.
no.
And
we're not-
even really close to brand new everything. We
It
just
still
don't have
breaks
the money
down.
to do it. But I know breakdowns are a headache, but they're going to happen. And you can't
Yeah.
buy your way out of breakdowns. It just does not happen.
Well,
But you have to keep improving.
we have to
if you
keep
can.
things cycling through. And that chip spreader, I mean, it's 1985. So that's probably the biggest ticket item, and we use it a lot. If we were to pay somebody to come in and do chipping, we'd pay way more than $140,000. Just to pay a contract.
Hard to get parts for it. I don't disagree with not getting that, like, cycling out one semi-tractor every year and replacing it. In my opinion, that's unnecessary.
Yeah,
Depending on the mileage and stuff, because I'd have to get a good truck. I'm not happy with the miles.
well, and that's one thing, like I said, it's kind of loosey-goosey. It's kind of, I know the dump trailer we got on there, the belly dump, it's starting to fail. There's things going wrong with it. And so it's not like it's this piece of equipment that's on the list. It's kind of the, which one are we having trouble with? Which one's nickeling and diming us? You know, I'm talking to the state. They talked about, I asked them, I said, so how do you guys determine when you get rid of something? And they said, it's all in the equipment costs. They said, once it starts nickeling and diming it, we've got to get it out of there. And we have equipment like that. That's just a consistent breakdown, electrical issues, stuff like that, that just doesn't go away. So that's what I'm hoping to get on that list. Also, that older patrol is coming up. You know, it's beyond its prime. Oh no, we just sunk $60,000 into it. So hopefully, I guess we'll see how it continues to run. But if we don't plan for those things, you know, we're just kind of caught unawares, and then we're chasing things.
So repairs budget is running at 100,000, it's increased each year over the last 3 years. We're at almost 18,000 already this year, $100,000 budgeted,
Right.
and that includes agencies and stuff.
Right. And that $60,000 was just one chunk. So
Are you, to bump it to 330, are you planning to pay for all this equipment, or are you thinking of financing anything?
see, I would love to just pay it outright. So we got some other news, which I was going to address with you guys anyway. John Deere is no longer offering rentals. They have an influx of equipment on their lots, and the program isn't benefiting them anymore. So that's another thing on the long-term debt we're probably going to have to look at, is purchasing some mowing tractors. For the leases, so we get 2 rentals for the mowing. For the current lease, we have, well, we just started that last year. Remember, we restarted it, and those payments are like $55,000. So $55,000 for the next 4 years, and then a $200,000 balloon payment at the end, if we want to own them. Talking to a gentleman from John Deere, he said it would be wise to just purchase. Just intend to buy with purchasing, and then they're yours, and you can run them for 15 years or whatever, you know.
So it's the rentals.
The rentals, they're discontinuing, which are the smaller tractors. Yeah, we usually rent them for about 150,000 hours. That and that skid loader. Now, the skid loader is probably where it's going to hurt us, because we've been enjoying that. But yeah, so that's another expense that's probably going to be,
But you haven't talked to anybody other than John Deere about rentals?
not yet, no. I could look into like Case or New Holland or whatever, see if they're still running it, but it's seems like it's phasing out.
Yeah.
So back to Jim's question then. So you think this bump up in the machinery and equipment line will be an annual, I mean, you're building this into your budget, or it's a one-time thing?
I'm hoping if we can build it into the budget, if we can, because we've got that patrol, the patrols need to be replaced about every 7 years. So that's gonna come up really quick. And then the dozer, I guess the dozer that's out at the landfill is starting to show signs of issues. So that's on the list.
Here's what my concern is, if we put the road and bridge levy in place,
Mm-hmm.
stop leading the general funds. So we can take care of things necessary maintenance of updates here at the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
And, so we put 8 cents per thousand in road and bridge levy in place, and we're gonna increase, highway principal out from the general fund by another $130,000. Seems like we're.
Part of that,
It seems like we're utilizing that road and bridge levy kind of twice. We're still gonna be putting enough money in the general fund, and instead of $1 million to $1.5 million, which is what we're trying to solve.
right,
We take a budget and spend money on, okay, I mean, sometimes we have
Wow.
surprises, but we're going to be all of it, $100,000 machinery purchase budget. Now we're gonna add almost $40 million to it. I don't know, I thought we were trying to solve the problem of.
And I-
Money on the road bridge, now we're just turning around and going back, pulling, sorry, the general fund.
and I thought it was partially also to cover the rising costs of construction costs,
Oh, you know that.
because
Oil and-
our oil roads aren't fixing themselves either. And we need the equipment running to do that. And especially if we're going to get a hard winter at some point. Because that budget was running, but it was running tight, and it was running on broken and fix it and fix it and fix it. The skimp and save.
I'd be surprised if we're-
Yeah.
We have this piece of machinery, or that piece of machinery that's just been falling too, and
Mm,
we've known it for a season or two, and it does.
right.
Yes, we did.
Well,
We
I'm
complained about $1,500,000 in prices.
I know. And we've got like the paving equipment is getting older. Our broom is older. Our packers are older. They need to get replaced, and they're not cheap for 100,000. Maybe we can find one for around 50, 100,000 used that'll work. But as far as like to be up to current safety standards, the one we've got right now, I think it came from World War II. But these are just things that I observed. I mean, just kind of out on the job. I know now that Danny's gone, I think we're ready to let loose of that Oshkosh, that orange Oshkosh. Apparently, unless y'all want to take a look at the brakes and try to see if you can get those fixed. He has some hair-raising stories. Those guys loved their piece of equipment that was theirs. But
So if we increase that machinery and equipment line, is it necessary to increase the transfer from the general fund?
that's where the funding would come, is the general fund for that. So usually it's 100,000. We raised it at 230,000, but that 230 has to come from somewhere, and that would be the general fund.
I just wondered if
Because quite
there would be
honest,
some, I know we discussed the 500,000 this year on whether that would be even necessary
yeah,
to cover. So I know, just like Doug always says, we're not supposed to build in too much cushion to these things.
Right.
And so want to be realistic about it. I'm just curious on if it would be, obviously the new road and bridge tax goes directly to
it does.
the road
It
and bridge
does.
fund. So I'd just be curious to see if we could nip and tuck and not, maybe we can raise the machinery equipment line, but it wouldn't have to put a burden on the general fund.
Well, and I guess one thing that has occurred to me is these taxes are in place for our infrastructure, to pay for our infrastructure. And the road and bridge is one of the biggest infrastructure expenses. And the fact that that 1.3 million is coming in the road and bridge tags. Oh, we've been pinching pennies for a lot of years, and there's a lot of, dangerous equipment that we've operated with. I'd like to try and just get us up to date on things ahead of time instead of, I guess, having things fall apart and then have to deal with the chaos after that. But also, where else is that money going? Like, what improvements are we planning that is going to take that large of an amount of funding for the courthouse?
One good hard winter. We would lose that in one winter cycle.
Well, so we're obviously trying to set money aside for some fairly major improvements to the courthouse. We have the heating and cooling, we have the parking lot, we have
Right.
the tuck pointing, we have, they're not, well, the heating and cooling might be a large expense. And you start talking
That's
100
true.
plus thousand for tuck pointing. It all adds up. I'm sure everything costs more money in both the road and bridge and from our general fund to run the rest of the county. So, I'm sure that there's going to be no lack of place to utilize that money. It's all these things that could add up to $500,000, just whether or not we can do it over the next 3 years or whether
Right.
we can do it over the next 10 years.
Well, And honestly, just to have that spending authority on equipment. Like I said, now that John Deere canceled their rental program, we're going to look at purchasing equipment. If we do have to, that'd come out of the equipment line. And we'd probably have to do financing, so that would also be a long-term debt item.
Because we have things coming out of
Yeah,
the
long-term debt.
debt service stuff, don't we?
Yeah, we have the last payment, I think, on the graders is next year. And so that'll open up a decent size payment.
I guess it goes back to we can stick all those dollars in there, but at the end of the day, the money has to be there for us to spend it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
We
get
can budget
that.
all we want, but if the money's not there,
So
can't buy it.
my other
What?
thought, because you guys can adjust that like throughout the middle of the year. I know it takes a lot of more work on Doug's part to plan the budgeting meeting or the budget amendment or whatever that he has to do. And I guess that's kind of why I'm trying to get it in there now, so he doesn't have to do it later. Because I guess also we have a lot of budget items that we don't spend the full potential on if we don't have to, or if we don't have the opportunity, if something doesn't come up. We will just not spend that money. And so we'll end the year on a budget surplus, which honestly, if I look back in history, we always have been under budget. Now that's probably after a budget adjustment sometimes.
So,
Okay.
that amount requested for 26 for road and bridge debt service principal of $243,359. That's the last payment on the grader.
130,000 of that, or 150,000 of that is the last payment on the graders. We still have payment on the leases, which is around 50. And then we still have payment on gravel. So we're down to $70,000 in payments rather than 300,000, 250,000.
So the 150 or the graders will come off
Yep. the
next
grading will
year.
come out.
So,
So not
in theory, to keep,
Last year, but come off the year.
So they won't be in the
I mean,
twenty-seven
any-
budget.
Correct.
Next year,
I mean,
yeah.
anything though that we would finance next year, our first payment would be 27
Right.
in theory.
And
I guess,
This, you might not need to answer right off the top of your head, but what is the average increase over the last couple of years in the cost of oil and miles of road? I know we talked about that once, and I don't remember the number, but,
right.
so in reality, so we're talking about this $230,000 increase, that's just one line item. $4.5 million budget.
Mm-hmm.
And if, where before we would find the money somewhere to cover $50,000 surprises,
Right.
if the increase in oil and mile of road has brought 10 or 15% or 20%. We've got to cover expenses, but it's,
Well, I know I didn't bring my budget workbook with me. I know talking to other counties, they're paying 200,000 a mile for a 2-inch paving job. And we do it for so much less than that personally ourselves. I don't. We have in our materials lines, we have budgeted for the jobs that we want to get done for next year. And that covers all the materials that we need. So that's probably a good chunk. But, gravel's gone to $8 a ton versus $2 a ton. And that's, I want to say in the last 10 years, it's doubled. 10, 15 years, it's doubled
if I remember,
at least.
if I remember correctly, that's right, and then last year we talked about a 15% cost increase, 1 year over. 1 year increase, 15% on the asphalt.
Oil,
and
yeah.
stuff, supplies to oil and road, so you either increase, either add revenue or cut money.
Right. And this year, the weather has been a factor. All that beautiful rain. But,
Always is.
so then that messes with our schedules. But just to have what we need to do, what we need to do. It's frustrating because we can have all the oil and the gravel in the world, but if we have a trailer that doesn't run or work, or a truck that doesn't run, or a chip spreader that's on the side of the road and we have to go to this county and see if we can borrow theirs, and then we find out theirs is just as old as ours. If not worse, and it's just it'll break, right? It's just frustrating because that's what we face every day. So if we can say, this has been worked on enough and we patched it, and let's look for a replacement, that makes our lives that much easier. Just to know that that's in the budget. And like I said, we don't have to spend it all right now. Right now, I think we've got $13,500 that we're kind of looking for a pickup with. I don't know that we're going to find one for that amount, but we're doing our best. But that's what's left in that equipment line. But then, we kind of buy the cheaper equipment with the higher mileage, cheaper pickups, higher mileage, and it doesn't last us quite as long. But, and I mean, if we were having problems with like newer equipment, I'd say it was maintenance, it was on us. But we've got 250,000 miles on our pickups, 300,000 miles, and I really feel like Jeff has done a good job on. Right. They're beat up miles.
I'd be more inclined almost to leave it close to where it is and see how things play out towards the end and,
Okay.
you
And
know,
if you want,
to put money, if we know we have dollars towards the end of our
yeah,
year, then maybe we're more likely to. And I know it's not always the perfect time to buy necessarily, but we just keep our eyes open, I guess.
Yeah.
For the things you know you need, like a chicken
Okay.
spreader, if that's the case.
I
and,
wonder,
and we can amend the budget at any time.
Right.
I wonder if, it'd be beneficial to us to have like, maybe, that we kept watching online for something really specific. for.
We sure could. I know the guys kind of get on and look on the surplus website fairly regularly, and they try to keep an eye out on auctions and stuff. But I guess we could probably ask.
And so on the topic of replacing semi-trucker, here, we've made a point to buy those older low mileage tractors from surplus.
Right.
That are pre-debt.
Mhm.
We're having some trouble with that.
Right. And there's a part of me wondering
About getting rid of those and going back to trucks with them.
how long that's going to last.
Probably the EPA might be doing away with that anyway. So maybe
Right. Maybe we'll be okay. No, I know. Well, and I know Jeff has a specific type of truck that he waits for them to come up because they're a over the road, clean haul vehicle. And he's got his contacts, get a hold of them when they come up. And like I said, this is just kind of it's a loose list for me. That list I gave you guys however many, a couple months ago.
Yep.
But those are just, I mean, those are our concerns down there. And if we can say, yes, we'll buy it, it's in the budget, that makes our lives easier. Or we know we can be looking. But we can also come to you and give you a phone call and say, hey, we found this, it's this. And you guys are usually pretty easy to work with. So if you prefer we do it that way, we can continue doing it that
Because
way.
we kind of got to do it that way anyways, honestly. I mean,
Well,
you're
yeah.
not just going to,
We're not
you're
just
just
gonna
going to go buy $150,000 chip shredder and not talk to anyone about it.
You're correct. You're right there.
So
But then it takes that budget adjustment and
that's easy. Just as long as it's there
yeah,
to adjust. I mean,
yeah. But anyway, I guess that's why I stuck that on there. I figured, I know I was talking to a different county superintendent, and he said that his budget this year is has been about 350,000 is what they usually run a year. And I just kind of thought, well, maybe we should look at that.
roughly the same amount of money, same amount of road and stuff.
No, I think they have less, but, yeah.
I mean,
They don't
we
do
we
the,
certainly probably averaged more than 100,000 because we had $1 million in
right, well, and
20 when we bought the graders.
if you look at that budget form, like, let's see. It should show you back to 2022 what we've actually spent. So 22, we spent 113,000. And then, of course, we had that year we bought those graders that was about $1 million. And then last year we were back down to 99,000. This year we're at 86.5. But, yeah, I guess we can probably run in wherever we need to. But,
Yeah, I mean, if I know you put together that
yeah,
5-year whatever plan it was for, which is nice, and we definitely I think want to smooth this out versus having the 1 year where we're at $1 million and then we're back down to 100,000.
right. But then also it depends on selling and who's selling when.
Correct.
And that's, I think that's pretty strategic on Jeff's part. He was trying to get the graders with the clean miles.
I don't know. I can see where we definitely need to update some of those things, and things cost more, there's no question.
Yeah,
But
I'm just trying to find a solution for well, this is completely broken now. We need to find another one. But maybe if if we feel like we have a little leeway to come to you and say, hey, this is happening. Can we do this? That'd be fine.
So is there I mean, maybe there's a happy medium. What do you have for a priority over? So we have the 100,000. I mean, that's where our current budget's at.
Mhm. And that
Priority over that 100,000 would be
but
chip sealer?
probably the chip sealer for around
And-
150. But also we have 2 pickups that have gone down on us. The service truck is now in Staub's lot waiting to be assessed for repairs. We're down to two work trucks and a Yukon and a S10.
right. And I guess not to talk in circles, and we probably need to move through this, but I also think we probably, I mean, we're going to move 150,000 off of that debt service line come 27. Not that I would be in favor of, adding debt or not adding debt, but continuing our debt
No.
or financing anything, but we could definitely look at that too. And
And I'm a little nervous with having to purchase those mowers. That might be mowing tractors, that might be an expense that's coming up.
sure.
But I guess I'll continue to look into rentals, maybe elsewhere,
Sure.
whatever. But
All
yeah,
right. Is there, I
that
guess
was-
while we got Nicole's, or anything else on the road and bridge?
budget.
We got to make a decision on that number because it's amending our budget.
Yeah.
Yes.
If we're gonna change it, yeah.
If we're gonna
We're
change
not
it,
gonna change it.
we don't need to.
So if we're leaving $100,000 where we propose to that, we need to change anything. This is just a request to change our proposed budget.
Right.
So,
Right. So I guess, yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
if somebody wanted to make a motion to amend it to what Nicole is asking, or any other amount, or if not, we move on.
hear from anybody else?
Yeah, if any, I mean, on this specifically, or,
On the budget itself?
Just the budget.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we can, I mean, I assume, because we'll have to approve the budget, provisional budget as a whole, or this is
Yeah.
just simply
Unless you change it.
a hearing.
Okay, I want to speak to a couple things. One, whether it's causes more work for me is irrelevant. So don't take that into consideration because that's what I do. That's what I get paid to do. The only thing that really causes me grief is when it comes up at the 11th hour, which tells me that the need for a committee to go back into the highway department and help with budgeting would have probably resolved all this beforehand. Where she wouldn't have to come here with this presentation. It also meant that she didn't have time to put her stuff together and show you tangible items to look at. It's all very anecdotal in nature, and that's not how we should operate. I advocate that you leave it alone because I do believe legislative audit when they say that there's a purpose and a reason behind supplementing budgets when emergencies come up is a legitimate thing. And just throwing money into a budget so that it's there often just leads people to spend it because it's there. Whereas the controls rest with you 5 guys. And that control is exercised through the supplement process. So that's my 2 cents from the bookkeeper standpoint.
Thanks, Doug. Is there anybody else out in the peanut gallery on this specifically, or any part of the budget that want to make their voice heard? Don't see anybody or hear anybody.
Well, it would be nice to have options other than one person to look at different equipment in different places where you could get the best about. So maybe
Agreed.
form a committee, you know.
Yeah, I think, I guess we were just general budget committee, but having one specific for the highway department does make sense. Cole, you have any other comments?
No, I guess honestly, we came up with this, a couple months ago or whatever, and I wasn't quite sure how to address it after we did our initial budget meeting, so sorry if I'm behind the eight ball. But like I said, I know I'm good with, if you guys want to stay where we're at, we can bring up the issues as they rise. I've given you the list, you know what the issues are, so.
Yeah.
You know what to expect, I guess.
My concern is we know we're always gonna have unexpecteds,
Mhm.
and we can say, that piece looks like it's the worst piece, and this piece looks like it's the worst piece, and that's the third worst piece. And so we spend most of that money replacing those pieces, and then we still have a $50,000 or $100,000 surprise.
Right,
And
right.
I guess I'm not opposed to just dealing with the expensive surprises. Part of the reason we're able to carry a $40,000 or 40% budget reserve is for surprise. unexpected. My suggestion is leave it where it's at.
Okay.
Motion as it comes. I
Yep.
guess.
All right, I'll try to have myself together better for next year.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cole. Okay, is there any other areas of the budget anybody wants to discuss? I don't think I had anything.
I didn't.
Nope.
Doug, are you good? Do you have anything else? Okay. So I guess entertain a motion to approve provisional budget without any amendments.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the provisional budget as is. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Your next item is the conditional use permit public hearing, where you'll take testimony or against plan. Proposal.
I have some handouts that John brought. Jim, if you'll just hand, there's 5 copies of each. John, you're more than welcome to come up and present. I gave them your copies, so we can start with either one.
I don't know.
Oh, my, sorry. Okay.
So there are a lot of pages there, I guess. The first one that says Vantage Point on the top, that's was prepared by a company, like a general contractor, I guess you say, an engineering company, Dakota Environmental out of Huron, and they're part of Vantage Point. What we're talking about is a 4,800 head hog barn that we'd like to put up on the Orient Road, that Orient Blacktop by the Whiteman place there. And, you know, it's over 1,000 animal units, so we need approval from commissioners and the people, I guess. Right now, there are 6 residents within the 2-mile setbacks. Got approval from 2 of them right now, and kind of working on some studies and like the second piece of paper I gave you is an SDSU odor proof footprint tool. Kind of gives, I just got this morning, so I haven't shown everyone that yet. But it kind of gives the residents a better picture of what they could expect from a hog barn near them, I guess. Everything we've gone through, you know, it's nowhere near, it's not where we're going. It's nowhere near surface water. It's about a quarter mile away from any surface water. It's not near an aquifer. We've kind of had the studies done there. We intend to drill a well, be like the Dakota Flow, which is about 1,400 feet. Spoke with Stretch's Well Service. They said there's good water there. I've had some residents express to me worries about that take up too much water for their cattle facilities and stuff. I asked specifically about that issue, and he said it's not a concern. I guess the well guy is not concerned about that. Yeah, I have any questions you guys would have. I guess I'm more than ready to answer.
Do you know about how much daily water usage it is?
It'd be roughly 8,000 gallons a day. So with a 4,800 head barn, there'd be older pigs, so like 150 days on feed pigs, and then younger ones most likely. So there could be that sweet spot where it might get up to 10, if depending on the age of pigs, and it could be as low as 4, I would say, but that would be the very lowest. From what I've talked with people, our overall usage per month would be below that. Like, I think it's about roughly 325,000 gallon threshold where you'd need more approval from the state, I guess. That's our plan so far. As far as storage, manure storage, we're supposed to have 270 days of manure storage on there. In the current plan, we're doing an 8-foot pit. There are diagrams in there. And we have about 14 months of storage with manure. I've actually looked into doing a 10-foot pit versus an 8, just to give more flexibility. But with having 14 months, I'm not looking at that time just for the extra expense. You guys know how high concrete is. So, yeah.
So it's gonna be strictly in a below pit facility. I mean, there's no above.
Correct. Yeah, it's all 100% below. So something we are doing. So obviously the residents are concerned about the odor and stuff. Looking at doing I don't know if you guys have seen Christensen's or our barns kind of around Gordon's Lunicas area. Ours have just pit fans coming right up the top. What we're looking at now is doing chimneys, which would get it above 10 feet from the barn. Been told that kind of helps get the particulates up and dissipated better. That's why we're looking at that, I guess. And they are SDSU, or there's a guy at SDSU who's working on a site-specific odor management plan for us, but with the Labor Day weekend and that sort of thing. So the one you guys have is just one based that was already done. It was already done by SDSU I believe it was over by Clark, and it's 4,800 head, just like what we would be, but I guess, so it's pretty accurate representation, but not specific to our site.
So they're working on fan disbursement, like tree.
What they
tree
were
layout potentially, or those kind of things.
What they would mostly be doing, so the fans would be about the same. It's more like topography, like if there are 2 hills, obviously that wind's going to funnel and it could affect one residence more than others. So they take that into account, I guess, would be stuff like that.
Has there been any discussion about like trees and a lot of that helps with airflow through there? I know they can come up with different vegetation plans, I guess is what the wording would be.
I haven't looked into any of that at the time. I'm not opposed to it one way or the other, but I mean, guys know trees, and that's minimum 10 years later.
Well,
I guess
it just takes time.
Yeah. Something general contractors brought up, SDSU does this on their facility right next to town there. They did 6 to 8 feet roughly around their entire barn of wood chips. They've helped that. They say it helps, I guess. Not opposed to that either, I guess. Just the plan is to have it along the road, so just kind of want it to have it look reasonably nice. Don't want a decrepit, broke down building, I guess, along a blacktop. So, I mean, kind of open to all that sort of thing, I guess.
So it's hard to say on the map. So you're on gravel, or it's right off where you're.
It's right off the blacktop between Polo and Orient. Is where it's from Highway 26. It'd be 3 miles north if you're going towards Orient.
Okay.
We have a secondary site that we could go to, but in this spot, it is exactly 1 mile or more from every resident. I guess if we go anywhere else, we get, closer to 3/4 to a half a mile towards one. And so it's kind of the most central location we could do with the area. And we kind of need to be in this area just due to having the amount of manure that'll produce every year. It'll be about 400 acres, depending on how much you apply per acre, what crop we're going to go to. So that's the only spot, like for us personally, that we've got enough manure or ground to put manure on and have a 3-crop rotation, I guess. It's kind of how we selected that site.
So you said there's no residents within a mile,
There'd
but
be
there's 6 within 2?
there'd be 3 at about exactly a mile, with maybe 0.9 miles. And then there's 1 that's right at 2, 1 that's, a mile and a half roughly, I guess. So the Azevedo dairy, that'd be the closest one. And our barn would be to the south of theirs. So, we get south winds, but I think we get less south than north, I guess. So they would be probably the closest residents, and their house is right at the gravel road, and this barn would be about a 1/4 mile off the section line. So we're still at about a mile, I guess. There is already an open, a dairy there, an active dairy there, I guess, as far as the smell, but I know that's everybody's concern. Hogs are a tough sell.
I do know my experience in the hog ones we've dealt with, the larger ones, that that's always the concern. Obviously, a lot of times is the smell, and the practices you can refer to have improved a lot as far as the smell goes. And you talked to a lot of those. I've talked to quite a few different folks around those larger facilities, and most of them, once it's been built and they're actively working, haven't had much issue with the smell.
Yeah.
Application days is a few days a
There's
year.
nothing you're going to do about
Is the
that.
stuff I usually hear about. That's about it when they're applying that manure. But
Yeah, and there's no denying. Yeah, when you apply manure, if you're close to one of the fields, because our fields do get closer to some other residents than others. It's going to be sharp for a couple of days. There's no way around that. And on this paper, on this odor footprint, they kind of go with 91, 94, 96, 98, and 99% odor-free annoyances is what they call it. And if you kind of says in this paper, that's on a scale of 1 to 5 is like zero, or 1 is like you can't smell that at all. And that's kind of depends on each person. If you live in town, some folks, they smell they can get a whiff of it. If you're used to it, you don't smell it near as bad. So what they're classifying as odor-free, like say 91%, that means it's below a 2, or it's 2 or less as far as what you can smell. But that obviously depends on the person. 5 out of the 6 people in that, or 4 out of 6 are within that setback are in the livestock industry. One isn't. They just have town jobs, I guess, and 1 is just a farmer. So, and one of the farmers, I guess, has already signed. He wasn't too worried about it, or signed the waiver, I guess.
Okay. Do you got any questions?
And I know it's kind of a non-starter if you don't hit that 66% threshold for the setbacks. And I guess I just asked the commissioners to approve it pending I get that, I guess, for today.
You say you have 1.
We have 2, and still speaking to the others, I guess. Obviously, other people are hesitant about it, but been visiting back and forth. And I guess there's no guarantee we will, but then if we don't get the approval on setbacks, then I guess probably nothing can be done. So. I guess on the odor thing, or I don't know if you have any questions about that, like, you know, each graph, it kind of gives you a north wind, south wind, you know, a little more detail. Once you hit about 2 miles, or if you hit, let's just say 1 mile, because we've got, be half the residents, you know, you're kind of at 94% odor-free days is what they consider it. So, I mean, it's not a lot, but I mean, obviously it's still sometimes.
Something.
Yeah. Is there any other testimony opposed or for? Okay, sir, go for it.
Ray Mark Moss. We have a location that's less than a mile from there. And our headquarters is probably 2 miles away, and I live 2.5 miles away. I'm not opposed to hog operations, but those that want hog operations, put them in your own neighborhood. Don't come up in our neighborhood. Okay? The dairy that's there is closing down. They've never been much of a problem, but they're closing down. So, gonna be built along a county road. Better consider the traffic. Better get ready, fix the road. That's not a good highway to start with. Okay? It's gonna cost some money. They gonna fix it? Or us taxpayers gonna fix it? Why do we have to deal with it? John wants a hog operation. They got land in West Polo. Put it there. As far as the smell, yeah, he says there's not gonna be much smell. Put $1 million in escrow. If we smell it, we get money. Back up your statements. Paul has a couple things to say.
Paul Shakers, I live within a half mile, really. My farm it's right there in the backyard. And like I said, it is absolutely nothing personal against John or any selectors. I love them to death, the neighbors, and I mean, it's one of the deals, it's the old school mantra, you know, as far as this economic development goes. You know, the old saying, just not in my backyard. And that's kind of the same thing here. I mean, I've watched, just in the last 10 years in this county, all these hog barns get put up, all these wind towers get put up. We had nothing, our taxes had gone to nothing but up, and now, then we lost our service, we had organized townships. And there's a lot of people, I scratched my head like, what the hell's going on? And yes, commissioners, I mean, you guys, I no doubt you guys do the best you can with what you got. But like the cost of gravel goes up, well, who's buying the gravel? The wind towers, the hog barns. And in the end, it feels like we're getting stuck paying for it. Both the school districts on both sides are walking together. Walking has a $600,000 roundabout, Miller has a $550,000 roundabout. With all this damn economic development going on, like, why is that? Like, where's the money? And you ask the school, they say they're not getting it, or the school, the county, they say they're not getting enough. And, I mean, the commissioner's doing the best they can with what they got. I mean, I get it. So, I guess it's a hard sell, then, you know, somebody wants to put a hog barn in their backyard. You know, I do raise my eyebrows a little. But it's just a hard sell, just all this economic development in general. It sure doesn't feel like it to us. I don't know. Sometimes I've sat by a lot of years and not said nothing, but sometimes, yeah, you do just have to put your foot down. And like I said, I just really don't care for hog barn in my backyard. They say they don't smell. I have a cousin who married a guy, Union County, right across from Sioux County, Iowa. And he says, yeah, they say they don't smell. Yeah, that's not quite 100% accurate. And I don't know, I guess I went there, person I dislike the most, I wouldn't wish a hog barn in the backyard. I mean, and I don't know, like, as far as like manure management plans like, John, the 1/4 ground there, where are you gonna put the rest of the manure? What if, I mean, you have a manure management plan?
Yeah, it is here.
Yes. No, I mean, there's no doubt you put it on your sandwich ground around there. I mean, I don't even want to talk about now on this, on the proposed development, but I mean, it's just one of the deals. I wish I felt differently, but I don't. I just don't want to hog burn my backyard, and I do not see any, like Ray said, it will wreck the road. Well, it's not gonna help the road, that's for sure. And just hog barns and wind towers in general, I just don't see, I don't see the benefit of it. I mean, as a landowner, I pays taxes, and the taxes keep going up and up and up, the service is going down, it makes a scratch at it. So. And as far as, like, no surface water, I mean, I drive by that ground every day. Your field, there's a creek that runs through the field, right, to the games, or
Other field goal.
which side of the road do you want? I guess it all.
East.
Oh, but still, it's on top, kind of top of the hill, it gets flooded, but it'll still run down. I mean,
Did I respond or did?
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess the pit it's all 100% contained, so it's just whenever you inject manure into the ground, kind of no different than spreading cattle manure. I mean, not gonna say, you're putting
do you
manure into the
remember the
ground.
2nd of July, 2018? We got 11 inches of rain. Or if that place was 3/4 full.
I mean, it could be 3/4 full, but it's on the top of a hill, and it's still gonna be a couple feet out of the ground, I guess. And yeah,
Like I said, I don't mean to cat down a young man who's very ambitious and got a plan for a hog barn, and I don't mean to cat him down, but I really don't want it in my own backyard, I guess, and I really don't see any economic benefits from it. I mean, for the county, and I'm talking all hog barns and wind towers in general, until we start seeing some benefit from it. It's hard for us to. And then they want to put one in your backyard, you get a little fired up about it, like, okay, but. I guess I spoke my case, and.
I would also say, we are neighbor. We farmed, worked in that area our entire lives. So
Yes.
we're part of Orion and Polo community. It's 5 miles away from our farm, yes, but that's, as I said, that's why we're putting us there. Is that's where we have the ground, because it takes about 1,200 acres to do it right if you want to still maintain rotation. As far as the road,
Why are you putting it on the way south side of all your ground? Why don't you put it more central?
as I said previously, like we're going to go right there, because that puts it up, like you said, your house will be on that road. This puts it exactly a mile from your house. If I go farther east, I'm closer to another neighbor. If I go back, it's as central as we can get in that situation.
How far are you planning on taking it out or injecting it? Or what's the process? Have you ever done that? You have.
We've done drag line and we've done tankers. Tankers are harder on the road. With it being on a highway, I would plan to do a drag line. It's cheaper anyways. It's more cost effective to tanker it within a half mile or so. But once you get over that, drag lines are better. We have a company, they're an outfit that comes in and takes the manure off the dairy drag line. They would basically just pull up and move half mile and do that barn as they're there. As far as the loads thing, I would say, yeah, there's going to be roughly 60 more loads a year, semis coming out of that facility, give or take, 10. But you could kind of make the same argument with why do we stop people from growing corn versus beans? Off a quarter of beans, there's a pile of less trucks coming off the road. Corn, wheat, beans. Corn produces a lot more wear and tear on the road, but it's what we do for a living. That's what we do in this community.
I think there's also the mantra, as young guys, farmers, they're around. I talked to my cousin down in Union County, my cousin's husband, said it's kind of, people come in, they love building hog barns, but not in their own backyard, and then it drives up the pile or the price of ground. We're a long ways from that, where you didn't have hog barns around, and all of a sudden, two of them are competing for an 80, and it goes for $20,000 an acre. Well, guess what it does to the price of all the other ground? Raises it, and I mean, it really hurts the young farming community and trying to get young guys back. But like I said, and that, I mean, obviously, it's been long ways from that. But he also said, once they're built, they ain't unbuilding them. So if it just smells after they're built, well, you're, nothing you can do about it. But anyways, that's it.
Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else wants input? Okay. Got anything else, John?
Not a lot, I guess I would say, like, as far as like community helping or hurting, you know, we do have those 224s. And first year that one was built was winter 19. Everybody knows, kind of remember what that was like. The barn was very close to Gordon Slunica, within a half mile. He's never complained to us. I guess I speak with his grandson from time to time and just ask him, like, hey, it's been a few years. What are his thoughts on it? He said, no, I mean, when we spread manure, which, because we have a field on the other side of his trees, he said, yeah, it's ripe for a couple days, but other than that, it's really not much of an issue. Also, I mean, this was back when the county was still doing snow removal. Obviously, they can't get everywhere, but it wasn't long, and we were plowing him out so he could get to doctor's appointments, that sort of thing. We're going to be in that area with a loader clearing the barns. Like, it's not like I mean, this is our community. People need help getting in or out somewhere. I mean, we're going to help if we've got a tractor in the area, I guess. But yeah, that's it, I guess. Or if you guys have any other questions.
You selling barns, who's gonna, or how?
I imagine
Their problem?
Slunica, Al, he does it for the other four that are in that area. So it's right there for him.
How many people are gonna be working in the barn?
I intend on doing it, I guess. I mean, it's our own personal thing. So
That's just you guys in there.
yeah. I mean, if we get a hired man someday, he might in there. But I mean, right now, I'm the guy who does the main operations, I guess.
Okay. Has anybody got anything for John?
Sounds like there's some legwork to do yet.
There is.
But yeah. And Jamie, you have everything application wise so far that you need other than, In hand.
Just needs to get the waivers to us, I guess. As far as the application goes, he's got the application, and then the rest is up to you guys. You guys either approve it or disapprove it. Upon your recommendations or your, whatever your permitting requirements are to him, whether you give him a lower agreement with the county or whatever conditions that you give them, if you want to permit it.
Is there setback waivers are required within 2 miles?
Yes. Yes. And I gave him the 9 addresses that are within that 2 miles. 6 of them have a residence of those 6. They're not full-time residents, yes. So he knows, I know who he needs to get that from.
And I have spoken to 2 non-residents, not that the 2 non-residents, I guess, didn't care, obviously, but I've called them, gave them a courtesy call, I guess, but
And we're clear on residents and not residential properties. It's actual residents.
yeah.
2/3 of, I mean, so if you have a husband and wife, it's both have to sign the waiver, correct? Okay.
I guess I did not know husband and wife need to both sign. How I was told
I think
is,
you can interpret it how you want to
Maybe.
interpret
I
it.
think it's just residents, they've got to work that out within the residents.
Well-
Trying to get where everybody
It says
else is
every
at.
adult resident, so.
Every adult resident.
that's what it says.
I mean, that's, to be open and clear about it, that's, I mean,
That's what it
You
says.
can
That's
have
what it
Evan
says.
sign one and Shelby sign one, Lori sign one, Jamie sign one.
And I guess if that's what you guys want, I will do that, for whoever.
That's the way it.
That's the
reads.
way our zoning ordinance reads, and
Okay.
so, I guess if we're going to do it by the book, which we should, that's
And even
probably,
if each I have them each sign the same sheet, that's fine, John.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
right.
Sign separate.
Yeah.
They can sign
Yeah.
it together.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to go back and talk to the people that I've got it from and get an extra signature, I guess.
I guess I do want to address one thing, the comments about the windmills. Those things, we literally have to supplement with taxpayer dollars. We supplement with taxpayer dollars and take a ridiculous amount of gravel, has raised our, like Nicole said, our gravel price has gone from a couple dollars a ton of bit to $5 or $6 a ton of bit, and we're crushing on top of that. Jim Harkins talked to us about that, about how he's seen the jump in gravel price after these 71 wind towers. So those things are ridiculous, that we're taking taxpayer dollars to fund them to make more expense to the taxpayers. This is at least privately funded, I will give them credit for that, they're doing this on their own. And so that I'm in favor of. I said our conditional use permit is in place for a reason. Those lingers, even though it might not be a lot of days of the year that they smell it, but you got a right to, so I would work hard on, my opinion is I would work hard on getting these neighbors convinced to support your endeavor.
Yeah, and absolutely. I just, on the odor thing, that's just something I thought would help make the decision. Just got this today, actually. So I gave it to one resident. I was going to give it to the other ones. So they need time to talk it over with, I guess, a little more information. So.
I guess the only thing would be if we had needed any other stipulations besides the setbacks, if there are any other stipulations we want to set in that conditional use in regards to a road haul agreement or I don't know if it's really necessary, I guess, in this case, but I don't know. Or any other concessions.
I mean, traditionally speaking, we've done road haul agreements just during construction phase. Is that correct?
But that was on wind towers.
That was not right in towers, I don't know if they have it. And I think that you guys did one.
For
with
the
Racial LLC.
ratio
the
one.
Ottawa
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. Which that's considerably more extensive of a project, but
Correct.
That was twice the size, was it 9,600?
more involved, I'm sure.
You
Just
said
trying to remember what else we had in there before.
I guess for me, my recommendation would be to get those waivers signed. That's first and foremost.
Mhm.
That's part of the application process. After that, we can worry about whether we're going to require shutter belts or whatever else that might make it smell some or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that we can't be thinking ahead for conditions to have permit. So shut outs or runoff, whatever kind of things that we would feel need to be addressed.
Well, I really don't think the runoff's an issue with a below ground or under barn pit, I guess is the way, how I look at it.
In the 7 years that we've had these other two barns, I guess we haven't had an incident where runoff was a factor, but I guess like Polly said, that was in 18. First one was built in 19. We've had heavy winters and, a lot of flow just from melting. And I guess we never had an issue there, but who knows what could happen, obviously. But we are close-ish to a creek just as far as like getting the water away. So, and it'd be on a hill. I don't think that part would be much of a factor. I'd be shocked, I guess.
You have to be a pretty severe
Yeah.
rain event.
So what is your suggestion? You want him to get the written waivers first before we issue him a conditional use permit?
I'm not in favor of approving it without having the waivers in place. I don't think, that's just my opinion, maybe you guys want to do it different. That's some of the stuff that's first and foremost with the application is getting along with the neighbors as part of this project. And there's reason for a conditional use permit being in place. This is stuff, with the wording in there, it's stuff that's above and beyond what's normal operation. Normal operations are changing. The size of farms and the size of feedlots and stuff. It's just growing, it's changing, it's just growing. We deal with that. And speaking of truck traffic, when my dad passed away and we sold the cattle and I drove that farm up, we went from 3 or 4 legally loaded semi-loads in the year each spring to, I said, over 200 loads a year, that same number of acres. With the yields that we're running now, or our renters are running now, it's over 300 loads a year. And it used to be 3 or 4. So, the changes are effective.
So looking at you're anticipating a couple loads a day.
Yeah.
Is sort of what you're anticipating for that site.
So I guess right now at our current sites, we get a load of feed roughly every 5 days per 2,400 head. And that's when the pigs are big, so about market weight about every 5 days. When they're littler, it's every couple of weeks. So just shooting for, it'd be average throughout the year, probably be a load once every 7 days, if you want to go the highs and the lows. And then additionally, about 60 loads of finished hogs coming out per year.
Here's I guess on our Oil County Road, is concerned about whether we've got a post. Something maybe or plan in place to handle when the roads are posted.
It would be either load accordingly, and then there is that gravel road north of Osvitos that is typically but people use, it's not posted, I guess, to get to the state highway. It goes all the way to the state highway, so.
And that's the piece of road that you can get in and out all our county roads posted.
Yeah, yes, that we've hauled distillers using that road and that sort of thing. I asked them to take semis down it. So we've considered putting the barn just on that road, but then you kind of get to where that barn would be, across the road from a neighbor. And that's not, you'd never do that, I guess. No one would want that. So, and that's kind of why we ended up with this location. It gives everybody, from Polly's hay yard, it's about a half mile. From where he said he plans to build his house, it's a mile, I guess. That's how we got to this location. Gives everybody that mile, I guess.
And County Gravel Road has a lot of soft spots. It gets a lot of traffic. And you're talking about hogs coming in and out. What about the feed? They're talking, nobody's mentioned how many truckloads of people.
He just did, yeah. He said once a week.
Yeah, so half the barn would be big pigs. So those guys would be needing one every 5 days. When they're little, it'd be every 2 weeks or so. So that's where I got to the average of about once a week. There might be 2 show up in a day, then not for 4 days, I guess. So.
Yeah. I guess on my level, as long as you are meeting the criteria of the conditional use permit, I don't know what I can really say that can't give you a permit for it. Obviously, you don't have all the signatures yet. Could we make it, I suppose, contingent on that? I suppose we could, but I just as soon see that.
You guys
First.
would prefer to have another meeting if I got those signatures?
I would, I guess.
Yeah, I think that'd be
But
a better way to
I guess I
handle
don't,
it.
and I know you don't want to go to work of doing all that if you know it's not going to happen either, I'm sure. But I guess that, in my opinion, if you meet all those concessions, there's really no reason for us to say no, I guess, at this point.
That's my opinion too.
That's why we have it.
We would approve when the requirements are in place, and they said, neighbors are willing to sign off on it. I certainly don't have any.
Good, yeah. And I knew that coming in, just not having them, I guess, and did want to see if you had any other stuff like that. So, I mean, we'll continue to talk to the neighbors, and if they kind of say that they're not going to come around, I guess then it's just done and not going to happen. So,
Correct. Yeah, so it sounds like that's maybe the consensus of the board. So yeah, if you get those, well, no problem. And I think, Jamie, we probably we should be convened as the Board of Adjustment to recommend, or we can just do this all as commission when he gets the signatures, and we can just stick it on the agenda. Right. So we'd have to convene as the Board of Adjustment at that point, and then we can get you going. But I concur with the rest of the commission follow what we have in the zoning ordinance, which sounds like you are. If you get those signatures, I don't see any reason why we can't move along.
and you guys would like every signature, correct? Or a signature of every adult resident is how you want to go versus household?
I would, if you want to be safe, like I said,
Yeah, that's just.
there could be some discrepancy in our ordinance, but that's the way I think most of us read it. And I would imagine if one person in the household says yes, the other one's probably going to, but I guess I shouldn't
I don't
say
know
that.
how I'd handle that if one signed it and one didn't, I guess.
I guess that'll be a discussion for them to have.
Right. But yeah,
Yeah.
our ordinance reads adult resident, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a 4-year-old child, you don't need their signature. So.
Okay, yeah. I
Okay.
will work on that, so,
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
We appreciate your willingness to invest in the community, for sure.
Oh, one day.
3 o'clock is here.
Early.
This is actually here.
We can-
Nope,
We can,
just next on the list.
We can do it though. Let's do it.
Come on.
Terry.
Me?
me?
Okay, I have not been here before, so I don't know how you guys do it. Anyway, I'm Terry Downing, and my mother was Mary Alice Downing. Do any of you remember her? Everybody knows my mom. What we're here to talk about is we have a display set up of her materials over in the library. And what this is about is that our family is a very, very large family of Spears. And we are finding that a lot of the materials that are legit, let's say, treasures are being found in someone's drawer or someone's closet. And a lot of this stuff is getting lost. So what we want to do is that we set up a display over in the library so that the people of Miller and Han County can perhaps see what this was all about. So what we're talking about is history. My mother, she was outstanding with crochet. She made Barbie doll clothes that half the little girls in the county bought. She made these tiered wedding cakes. You may find a lot of the ladies around had those wedding cakes. They're tiered wedding cakes. She was the go-to girl for fixing sewing machines. She was the fixer of coverall zippers and work jacket zippers. She was just a jack of all trades. So what we were thinking, if you folks would like to take a look at some of this stuff, it's over in the library right now, and it'll be displayed there during the month of September. So what happens after September? We had an idea that perhaps we could set a display up here in our courthouse and let it last for, say, a year. And allow this display case that I have to sit there and allow another family sometime to bring their treasures in and use that. So what I'm here to ask would be permission to be able to put that display case in. The place I had in mind is down by the assembly room. We have Albie Nissen's gun collection on one side of that door. The other side of the door would be a perfect fit for something like this. So right now we are very happy with what's going on at the library. And I hope that most of the people in Miller or Han County might come in and take a look at it. Now, we've had the Miller Press come over and take a picture and put it on the front page of the paper. So we're trying to get the word out so that people can come and take notes of something like this. So what I'm asking is what you guys might think of having the display in the courthouse, say in October, run a year.
We're a public building, and it's part of the public life of the county. And I think it would fit right in there. I think it would be a good thing to do. I'll have them set it up.
How big are we talking?
This case I have is 6 feet in length, and it's like 16 inches deep, 42 inches tall.
It'll fit right into the space to the east of the door.
Yeah, that's 7 feet of space there, so it'd fit in there pretty well. So that's my idea. Now, it's working so well in the library. If you folks didn't think it was appropriate, that'd be fine.
I think it's, yeah, kind of neat. It's history of the county, and history of the county is our people, so. And I certainly wouldn't be against it. You're hoping that extended family would then come put items in there and,
Well, we have gathered up, we've gathered up all.
gotcha.
So we have all the stuff available. We'll put out the word the next year, someone else, some other family, put their treasure in there. Let's let the county, let's let the people see it before it disappears. Because a lot of that's going to disappear to the dump if we aren't careful.
So the articles that are in the case, they're gonna change out, or they're gonna stay the same, or?
For 1 year, they'll stay the same. I have a picture of what we have at the library, if you'd like to see it. It's on the front page of the Miller Press.
I don't really have any problem with it either. I guess my only, you just think, you just got to think about where the worst of things could happen always, I guess, anymore. That's always in the back of my mind. Like, what if something happens, someone breaks something, takes something, while it's in kind of our possession per se, or, I don't know. You just always wonder, but I don't know that I think it's a real big issue here, but, or the next guy that wants to put something in there isn't appropriate, and it's like, well, I don't know. But
Well, we got to think of that stuff.
I mean, you hate to even have to think about it, but you do anymore, unfortunately.
I will check with our insurance company to find it. It's frankly something I haven't thought about, but it would be worth checking with the insurance company to see what kind of coverage we have for theft if somebody steals something. So I'll check on that and get back with it.
That was a problem we had. We were talking with the secondhand shop down on Main Street. They decided we shouldn't do it for that reason, because someone might come in and take something that. Yeah.
Well, I think if somebody came in and stole one of the computers out of one of the offices, I understand we've got insurance on that. But something like that, I'll check. I don't know the answer to that.
So that's all behind glass, I'm assuming. That's all behind glass.
We don't have to have an answer right now. So we were thinking it'd be October when we wanted to do something like this, so you don't have to decide today.
Well, our courthouse is full of historical display.
Right.
So
Right.
a little more, and especially if it's gonna be something that, is rotated out to different family stuff each year.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know what, excuse me, how open the quarter museum is, but maybe that's the.
This won't fit there.
Oh,
We looked at that. We've looked at everything we could think of at town. Even the Friendship Center, it just wouldn't work there.
Well, what is cost of the ink for a motion? Is that what?
Maybe we can find out insurance wise and see what our liability is and go from there.
Guess we can do that too. We'll look at liability insurance just to make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's.
Very
But
good.
I think you've got a fairly receptive crew here.
So, good, because history
Right.
is history.
But thank you for coming in.
Yes. Thank you for putting up with me.
Thank you.
I will be in touch. Yeah,
Okay, old business. I didn't know if you needed to have any more discussion on the progress with the zoning ordinance or not, so I put it on there just to keep it alive. The only request that's on here is a approval to pay for NECOG to formulate and compile and make a publishable document. And I don't know, is there an estimate on what the expense will be?
Eric?
Yeah.
Dan? He's not real.
What'd you say?
Paul, Eric, Kane.
Well, I should have clarified with him. He initially said $2,500,
That's what I thought.
but my
And so I-
impression from when he was talking, I think it will be more than that. Just because we've spent quite a bit of time and he spent a lot of time, so it might be closer to triple that, quadruple that, maybe.
So that's the whole expense of the project.
Yeah.
not
But that would be the
public.
entire, yeah,
Okay.
because we're not done with it. I guess we can take up through our discussions, we are at the same time doing our zoning ordinance. Eric mentioned that it would be the opportune time to update our comprehensive plan because the zoning ordinance and the comprehensive plan go hand in hand. and we agreed, Luke and I agreed as part of our committee that we should do that, but that was outside of the scope of what the commission had asked us to do with the ordinance. So we decided we'd probably come back here and ask for permission from the commission to also update the comprehensive plan. It's certainly won't be as entailed as the zoning ordinance. So currently our plan is 2 pages long and basically just states that we're a county and
I do a little paragraph, so you can go ahead and check it out. Basically, just says that you're a county, you build upon our land.
we're required by the state to have a
Yeah, we are
comprehensive.
required to have one, yeah.
But anyway, we're updating our zoning ordinance and we're using the sort of the template that Eric has with NECOG. And so he's also has a template that goes hand in hand as far as a comprehensive plan. So anyway, we're going to ask for the commission to approve us to update that as well.
And the other reason we want to do this comprehensive plan is because we should have the comprehensive plan in place before we do the ordinance. So that's why we're here.
That's
We need, yeah,
So my question is, don't we give NECOG like $8,000 a year membership?
Yes,
So we have to pay them to help them?
these are outside the scope of that.
but it would be very hard to do without his help.
He's
I mean,
done a tremendous amount of work on
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, once you guys see the new draft, anyway, he's done a lot and everything costs a lot these days, but I imagine it's very in line with what you'd pay for any professional
Very time
services.
consuming it isn't, I'm sure.
Right. I mean,
Yeah,
it'd be
you guys do
it'd be
well.
significantly less if we were to have to hire a lawyer to do it. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
significant.
That's why I'm gonna spend it all.
So do we,
So yeah, we'd need permission from the commission to do the comprehensive plan for the committee
I
to.
move we move forward with the comprehensive plan.
Got a motion and a second to approve permission for the zoning committee to update our comprehensive plan. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
So I will just let Jared know that.
Yeah.
To do that. And then, don't you think that with that, then we'll have to bring that and then the draft
Yes,
For our next,
for everybody to,
of the comprehensive, the draft for the comprehensive. Yes.
I have a question that comes up for me. John's application for his hog barn, is that, if there's anything changes?
We haven't changed anything in the ordinance.
Okay.
We've just made all the verbiage flow together. Our ordinance, the way it was set up is as it is now. It's bits and pieces put together and it's hard to follow.
Yeah.
This will have, a CAFO, everything.
Plus anything that is applied for during this process supersedes anything that he,
We
I
haven't,
just
we're
want to
not
make
going
sure,
to, yeah.
just want to make sure there wasn't any wording changes that
And-
affect his application.
no, but it'll still go back to our original. While we're doing this, our original is in place.
Plus it's gonna take a while for us to approve that.
Okay.
Because you guys are gonna have to read the whole thing when we get done with it. Not that we made any changes, we just moved a lot of words around and made things flow together. Made it a whole lot easier for Jamie when people come in. She can just go right to here and it's there.
And for us.
Well, yes.
It's figuring out the problem.
So yeah, so I guess as far as a report from us, that's what we need permission to do that. We tune some more stuff. I think Eric will have a semi-final draft for us
In a while.
in a while.
Yes.
Do you want to vote twice? Okay. Okay,
Twice as sure.
right?
That's right.
It's time to do the transfer of funds from the general fund to the road and bridge and emergency management. I didn't put the amounts in because I wanted to make sure that the fund balances would support it. So it was budgeted at $500,000 from general fund to road and bridge, and originally budgeted at $54,000 from general fund to emergency management. And currently we have funds to support both those transfers. So I would recommend that you approve said transfers.
I will move to approve both of those transfers, road and bridge and emergency management.
Rich has got a second. Okay, I got a motion and a second to approve the transfers to the road and bridge and emergency management funds. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, new business. About two weeks ago, I got a call requesting if there were any records that pertain to what I'm going to call the North Valand Road, as it goes up 369th Avenue, goes a mile west, joins 368th Avenue, all of which is County Road Project 13. The roadway, as it goes through there, crosses across a piece of private property that is currently owned by the Fritzies from Wessington. And he would like to sell that property, so he hired a surveyor. The surveyor came to basically map out two plats on that piece of ground, discovered that that roadway does not exist in the records of the Register of Deeds office. So I did a little research. I got a handout that I discovered later, doesn't really pertain to this, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. I think I already did. Yes, it's this one. This is actually once it's been approved, how it gets into the official report of the Secretary of Transportation. From my perspective, it appears that we have one of two options. Either we return that piece of road back to the owners, or we make whatever efforts are necessary to make it a public right-of-way thoroughfare. Of which I think would probably be the best thing, because if you look at that photograph, the original statutory section line runs through where that water collects as part of the Wolf Creek. And the road was built to go around the north edge of that rather than over it, either by bridge or by land and culvert.
So is the road being used now?
Oh, absolutely. It's a major artery.
Is it a township road or?
No, it's county. Yep. And Nicole looked through the records down there and couldn't find the answer. Longer than that. It's been there since I was newborn here.
Permission wasn't given to go out on that private property and go up that road. Problem is, there's no record.
I'm sure it was. It was like, can we do that? Yep.
Yeah. As long as you get me from A to point B, you can go across anything you want.
I spoke with engineer Kirsten Harris, who used to do a lot of our work. And he said, oh yeah, that happens. He says there's a lot of times those roads aren't platted.
Really?
Yeah. He said, yeah, in the marshy areas, he said, you just kind of try to make your way around and escape around if you can. And he said, a lot of times it's not platted.
But it needs to be for him to do whatever he wants to do.
Or kind of sad mess.
So then we need to pay someone to plat it or purchase it from him? Is that the case?
I don't know. I think it's a better question for somebody that,
Yeah.
I think it is
Question probably.
law trained.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would step out.
Don't we already have Elton come in for a legal?
I think he's calling in, but yeah.
But this is something we're gonna have to take to him because we can't.
Yeah, I can. He'll want to review it, I assume.
Was Joe in a hurry for this to happen?
I would imagine if he's like anybody wanting to sell a piece of ground, You'd rather do it sooner than later?
I think we got them all over.
But it doesn't matter, you have to wait for whatever they have to do. I mean, just because you're in a hurry or something doesn't mean you get. Yeah, we've been talking about this for.
This has been going on for 2 years.
Yeah.
In my, right, and I had
Yeah.
I have a stack of papers this high in my
Well,
office.
You'll still have it 2 weeks then.
So, yeah, I don't think, I think it's another 2 or 3 months.
They want it from Rowan's for, and then I had a call from the FSA office. Actually, I think it was like 2 months after I started working here, when I didn't have a clue. And honestly,
It's just been one thing after.
yeah, and then the
And
windows,
there's more to the story.
there's way more to the story than just this piece of world.
Yeah. A lot more.
Well, I would say we don't do anything on it until we get a legal opinion.
Yeah, I think that you guys need to just, I think that you.
It's an
my
interesting
opinion
situation.
is,
Yeah, but I think
um,
the amount of years that road's been
consult
that
your
way
state- consult your
probably
state attorney.
supersedes.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I'd say we gotta get our state's attorney to look at it and go from there. There's nothing we can do today.
Well, seriously,
Agreed.
Okay. Excellent.
Staff is-
One thing off my list. That's what I just did. Okay, Lou came in, said that he wanted to attend the conference. We didn't have him in the bills last month, so we wrote a check between billing cycles. So I just need you to approve it because none of you individually can spend any money without the other's consent. So. Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the payment for Commissioner Wordsman to the SDACC convention. Is any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Emergency management, it's time again to look at the local emergency management performance grant. We received it from the Department of Public Safety Office of Emergency Management. It looks almost unchanged from last year. There is one thing that you need to focus on, which is that they say they'll pay 50%, but that's not actually true because they're not going to pay 50%. And I saw this during a Lincoln County Commission meeting where it was explained that basically it's the third year, this would be the third one, where they say it's at 50%, but they're not going to pay it 50%. So I think we should sue them.
So the agreement says 50%?
It sure does.
But they're not gonna pay 50%.
Nope. And they haven't paid last year and they didn't pay 50% the year before.
So they wanna keep us funding it, but they don't want to fund it.
The last I knew it was what, 42% roughly?
Biden cut it, Trump cut it, and they're just, nothing's changed. Rather than that.
What's the amount, give or take?
It's 50% of whatever his expense for wages and benefits are.
15, 18,000.
Right.
If we don't sign it, they won't give us anything. Victor.
Say that again?
I said if we don't agree, they won't give us anything. Actually.
That is true.
So you pretty much just said if the verse it sounds like to me.
But at some point, they need to change the verbiage in their contract.
Sounds to me like it's been brought up before.
I think when we pay it right on the deal, you need to change your verbiage to match.
That's
what
why I
we're
think we
paying.
should sue them. They're in breach of
And then they
contract, 2
change
years
it.
running.
In reality, that's what they're doing. It is a breach of contract. They're,
Talk
if
states.
we sign up and say, we're agreeing that we're gonna fund emergency management, and they're gonna pay half of this salary and benefits.
So we pay our half
Yeah.
and they don't pay their half, so we end up paying what they don't pay.
Right.
Because we paid it all to begin with, we're reimbursed.
Oh, that's right, that's reimbursement.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
They're just not reimbursing, what they're promising to reimburse. I hear you.
You understood that.
Yes, I did. I got it.
So
I
maybe,
didn't even step in it.
Canada.
I mean, honestly, it probably wouldn't hurt to talk, maybe someone has talked to Ellen about it, I don't know.
Well, I think they should be talking about it, because I mean, it's not for our budgeting purposes.
Yeah.
We're figuring we're gonna get 50% of this back,
Exactly.
and we're not,
So you can talk to your state's attorney about it?
I would say.
Yeah, we sign it, we send it to Pier, they sign it, they send it back. We have all these expectations that we have to abide by, Arlen does.
Exactly.
Which he does. so-
Until we bring it up and they say fine, and they say, okay, we'll do 10%. Put that in the contract.
Take that.
Well, at least you know where you're at.
I'd hate to see him testify.
Yeah, it is kind of a wish-washy deal. It's like,
It's really, why are we even signing the contract?
so in any case, we need to approve it, or
I would recommend that you approve it, just as Greg said. But
So moved.
I do think it should be an issue that the
I'll
counties
second
take up.
it.
got a motion and a second to approve the local emergency management performance grant, AKA the Lempicka. Also Lempicka.
Sure.
Is any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Right, with that, I turn it over to Susie.
Good afternoon. I am requesting to spend the money out of the M&P fund for 6 books that did not get scanned to go into my historical, that'll go into my document pearl, basically. So instead of, if you notice on, I don't know if on the second page, it does say something about, they're not gonna come here and set it up. I'm gonna take the books, I believe, to Lincoln County, stay there and bring them back with me. I don't wanna send them and then, they are gonna, it's a US imaging, they are gonna be in Lincoln County. So that I don't have to let them have the books very long. And they would hopefully be able to do them within 24 hours.
You are, there's plenty of money in your M&P fund and you don't expect.
Well,
other expenses.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of expenses, but we're still waiting on the other one that's, almost 30,000. But I do have money in there. This would come out of this year's for sure, and I have like 8,000 for this year's to take care of this one. So, and I just plan to stay there. I have a son that lives there, so just stay there.
I would move to approve that, imaging, or would you word that motion? That'd be correct. Approving payment for the imaging.
Yeah, so that I can sign it, so that they can do it.
Yep. I make that motion to approve that imaging.
Second.
Thank you.
Got a motion and a second to approve the imaging of some more books. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Good to go.
Thank you, Susan.
Will.
Thank you. Tell Susie, thank you.
Oh, yeah, I will tell you.
I need to talk to you today about purchasing some rugs, but before I do that, I've had a phone call a few minutes ago that you need to be aware of. Steve Riesel called me, and he is going to be out here tomorrow to start the concrete work at the south entrance of the parking lot. So when I checked with Nicole, and she's good about doing the asphalt work that'll need to be done around it. So the south end of the parking lot will be closed for a few days, and I'll get the cones out this afternoon when everybody's out of the parking lot to close it off. There's There's several other things going on, but I do not have any new information to report to you. So like on the back entrance, but as I get more information and I'm working on that, I'll get back to you and hopefully have a report for you next meeting. What I want to talk to you about today is buying some new rugs for the courthouse. Need to understand what's going on here right now. Not right now, as of the first a couple of weeks ago, we were spending about $5,280 a year renting rugs from Vestas. And this is one of those things that inertia is a powerful force. How did this come about? Well, we've had multiple 5-year contracts with Vestas. Before it was Vestas, it was Aramark. I believe they do business with the highway department as well. 15, 20, maybe longer ago, somebody approved a contract with them to provide cleaning supplies like mops and that kind of thing, which I think we still need to do business with them on that. I'm not real happy about this, but their approach to business was you sign that contract, and in the fine print of that contract, there is the contract will automatically renew every 5 years. And the renewal is they print out another copy of it, put it in their file, and it's renewed. And they, for certain sure, don't ever bother to call us or anybody else. So we're in a contract with them until the spring of 28. Now, that said, we could protest that, but frankly, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze on this. But I have gone back and I have told them we don't want any more rugs. And I've gone out and over the years, I've increased the rug order some as time has gone by, but inflation has really hit this. So what I did was I had them take all their rugs out. I went down into the basement and got some of our old rugs, went over to Ace, got a battery powered power washer that's compatible with the weed eater, the batteries on the weed eater, cleaned a bunch of rugs and put them up, especially up here on the second floor. My recommendation is this, that we spend about somewhere south of $2,500 to buy rugs, quality stuff from Uline, get them in here, put them in. Terry and I will clean them. She'll be vacuuming them anyway. Clean them periodically with the power washer, let them dry out. And when I let them dry out the last time, I left them out overnight, and then it rained 2.5 inches on them. So it took another. I'll check the weather the next time I do that. The price on what I've got from Uline that they make quality stuff is $1,997. What I don't know is how much the shipping is going to be on something like that. So it's not going to be $20. So I'm figuring 25. Even if it's $2,500, it pays for itself in 6 months. So, and as far as Vestas is concerned, I mean, I'm happy with their service, providing all the cleaning supplies they provided, but it just crept up and crept up and crept up and crept up. And it's like the utility bill. It comes every month. We've always done it. We've done it for at least 15 years. Don't think about it, but it kind of popped this last month when we had 3 invoices in 1 month because it was a 31-day month, and it comes up almost $1,000 on rugs and cleaning supplies. So my recommendation, I would like to get your approval to go ahead and purchase the rugs. And I think we just need to continue on with Vestas as far as the mops and all that. We're looking at $120 every 2 weeks. So $220 a month on that. When spring of 28 comes around, we take a long, hard look at changing them with somebody else or moving in some other direction. But that's where we are. Like I said, we could fight it, but
that would mean getting Elton involved, and we've got a contract that we've agreed to, and and we do business with them. They do a lot more business with the highway department, but like I said, I don't think it's the payoff is going to be worth the trouble we would go through to get it dealt with. They for certain sure know that I'm not happy with them right now, so.
So that would be to replace whatever we have downstairs and then some up here maybe.
Yes, sir.
Although you've talked to all the offices
Yes.
about.
Yes, sir. So, and they got one in there that they don't need. Okay. All right. So that will reduce. I'm making notes. That will.
Yeah, as long as everyone's happy with the outcome.
Yeah.
That's definitely the solution, in my opinion.
No.
I mean, yeah, make sure you talk to all the officers.
I've gone through and talked to them, but I'm going to talk to them again and make sure that this is what we're ordering. So, are you happy? I will follow up with that. So I just took one. I already knew the assessor didn't want one, but the register of deeds, I can claim what they've got in there too. So that'll reduce the cost. I'm just not sure what the cost is going to be because I don't know what the shipping's going to be.
I will make a motion to approve the purchase on rugs, up to $2,500 of the shipping included.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the rug purchase for $2,500. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I will take care of it. One other bit of information: I have ordered the signs, the handicap signs for the parking lot. The total bill with the poles came to $220 and some change. So I just went ahead and ordered those, and I'll get those put in when they come here.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you much.
Thanks. Luke had to take a break. Does anybody else take a break? I don't, but I just was.
I can keep going. Or do you want to break?
I'm fine.
Just keep going.
Jamie, you're up.
This will take me 30 seconds and you can.
Well, you're on the clock.
Okay.
Starts now.
Okay, so you see I have required training. Down in consent agenda items, you can see what I'm doing this year. I am going to school. Jim. September 15th through the 19th, I'm going to be taking rural and commercial appraisal topics. This will be my third of my required schools from my 5 years for classes. Okay. And then I just have one more conference to take and a use path class and 5 hours for this certification time period. Okay. And then I'm considered a senior or something like that. Yeah.
Consent given.
No, I just needed to tell you.
You get like senior discounts or something then?
Do I look like I needed a senior
Well, I don't know.
discount?
There's new rules now these days. So I don't know.
Good one.
Okay, I think you're good to go.
Okay, I just needed to let you know that. Okay. If you need to take a break now, you can.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. All right, John, go for it.
Take a break or no?
Luke's
Nope.
back down. We're good. We're good to go. We're hammered through.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, I can get you one. All right. I'm gonna pass. What's that one? So the last time I was here, we talked about potential purchase of a minivan for, well, Doug would use it for the auditor stuff with
elections and that, and then we'd also use it if we needed to transport for autopsies and that. I've been looking and looking and looking, and this here is probably one of the best deals that I could find. It's a little bit older, but it's pretty low miles for one of those vans. It's 80-something thousand miles. And I called over to Olympic. I found this on Thursday. I called over to them and asked if they would hold it. They said they usually don't, but if they will, I said, okay, that would be good. So I had to come approach the commission. If that one is not still available, I can look all day long, but I just need to know what's a suitable limit, like for pre-approval.
Yeah.
$9,900.
Yeah, it's on like it's got a $4,500 sale on it right now.
So like those, you can remove the seats.
Yeah, it's a stow and go, so the seats fold flat into the floorboard.
They fold down flat.
Yep. 95 or something like that. 97.
10 grand. I think.
Yeah. 88. 2012.
I just found it on Facebook Rummage. It's actually cheaper.
99 something.
The same one.
Did you? Yeah.
The same one.
It is actually the same one.
It's
$100.
cheaper?
Yeah, $100 less.
Do what?
Facebook Rummage, it's $100 cheaper.
Oh.
When you look at that.
That same.
It is the same one, yeah.
So Jamie would probably be using this more than you will, actually.
And we're done. Yes.
What'd you say, I'm sorry?
She wants that pickup, wondering what you're doing right now.
Oh.
She wants the pickup.
I'm
giving you.
Vehicles also.
I said Jamie would like to be using this van more than John, but Jamie does.
Well, let's hope so, since he's the coroner.
Yeah. Although this year's been
Busy.
This year's been really busy.
Well, but basically, it's coming out of your budget is the reason.
Well, yeah, but I don't have a budget to supply
It
things
would-
like that. That is my budget for the year.
Yeah, Jamie, you would use it like if you're going around town and stuff. I know you want to use or you wouldn't use it at all.
I don't think,
Okay. I didn't know I was bring Scott into this discussion. Last time you guys being brought into a discussion about like Arlen's pickup before, but is this in place of Arlen's pickup?
I didn't think so.
No, I mean, it'd be a county vehicle. If you didn't need, like if you're going around town or something, like you didn't work.
Instead of the Explorer.
Instead of the Interceptor, everybody can come and hop in that thing. You think I'm undercover?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
You know, you can take it as.
Well, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Is he available?
Well, yeah, I would rather be.
You don't like her. The reality that if you didn't need the pickup box, that pickup would be a little, you know, pickup would be a lot more usable than I would require.
True.
This would save quite a bit of gas for your running around.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want with that Interceptor, I mean, that's.
yeah, but you gotta realize this has to be available at a moment's notice if we get it for the coroner. I mean, accidents don't always happen after hours.
Well,
So I would take it to school then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how you gotta look at it, but it can be used for other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just needs to stay in the county because if something comes up, you gotta have it. I mean, it's a vehicle for the coroner, but everybody else in the county, all the other departments in the county can use it as long as they don't leave the county with it.
Jimmy's using.
Does that sound right?
30 minutes away.
Unless she's saying going to schools or whatever, but anyway.
It
yeah.
seems reasonably priced. You look like what things are going for.
I remember looking at it. I mean, you can find some that are $5,000, but they've got 190 million miles on them.
Right. That's that's what I was finding is I could find cheaper ones, but I don't know if we want a cheaper one. Like,
Well, this should last for quite a while. I mean, it's. got a
yeah,
lot
I mean, some of
years.
those minivans get over 200,000 miles on them.
Well,
as long
that's
as
what I
they're-
mean, the miles it's gonna get on it aren't really gonna add up to that much a year. This year, yes, it would have added, so, and,
This year's been an anomaly.
yeah.
Well, so we just need to, we'd have to transfer some money.
You would pay for it, and then you would do a transfer from contingency back into
There's none in the contingency vehicle
Yeah.
line? Yeah, there's like 30,000 there, so.
At least,
So that's where, yeah, we transfer.
we get it done.
We have that contingency
Right.
vehicle. Yeah. No, anyway, I guess.
I'd move we spend, get a van, $10,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably gonna cost us more than 10, but.
And a little bit more with documentation and whatever else that would be. Either this.
I mean, we could, yeah. Just say 10,000 purchase price or
And then get
listed
this.
price.
And then get this.
If this one's still.
If that was still available, it works good
Still on the
for
website.
us. Okay.
Or,
Like, yeah.
Actually, for a little less. It was 9,800 something on the website. So,
Rich will second.
so your motion is to purchase this one or this one and or.
this one and or
Equivalent value.
equivalent
Okay.
$10,000 purchase price.
Okay.
Second.
Rich second.
Oh,
Okay, I got a motion and a second to approve a vehicle purchase for the coroner. Is there any,
Watch any other.
this vehicle or another up to $10,000? Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Call them up.
Okay.
Hopefully we don't
Oh.
need to use it.
Well, hopefully not. I mean, it's, so with that, I talked about COTS previously, and I have done quite a bit of like reading on COTS, and then I've also talked to different funeral homes also. And you can get a cheap cot, but they say they're cheap for a reason. After a while, the legs don't want to fold on them, or the wheels don't want to roll, or something to that effect. Everybody I talked to, from Tiffany to Kelly Hike, they've already said Furno cots are the cots to have. They say they last a long time. They're made well quality parts. And they both recommended what's called a Minimax 24 Minimax. We had already talked about the purchase of a cot. That cot there runs about $5,000.
And what are the cheap ones?
Like 1,000. But so here's my other concern with that is, so when I take a person down to autopsy, or whoever takes it down to autopsy, you get like zero help when you're there. Security lets you in the door, and that's the help you get. So I don't want myself or somebody else that's taking body down there to be trying to fight with a cot at 1 o'clock in the morning out there all by themselves either. I want them to be able to work like they're supposed to. Because you got to wheel them into the morgue and then transfer them over to one of their beds. They've both had other brands, and they say that either the legs eventually quit working, don't want to collapse like they're supposed to, or the wheels don't want to turn or they fall off. So
I'll add that the Furnos are very good cots. They're working really cool. They're walking down across the rock, they walk down first and stuff. They're good cots.
I think Kelly Hike said he said he bought his backup one right now is a Furno, and the one he uses right now currently is a Furno. I think he said he bought his backup one back in the 80s and he's still using it.
I just question like something realistically you're gonna use maybe once a year, but, you know, I don't know.
Is there any chance of finding these good used at all?
I don't know about that. I wasn't ever, I didn't look on it used, like, I don't know.
I wouldn't know where to look, but I mean, if.
Sure.
Talking ambulance, different hospitals, I mean, you talk to a Vera or someone, or I don't know.
Because a mortuary card's different than an ambulance card. Like they could operate differently.
What would it matter?
If you're operating by yourself, it would.
And usually you don't have anybody with you, somebody else. And when you put in, I'm not saying anything.
There's possibly somebody there, like one of the deputies maybe, to put them in. My other thing is if, and I look at it as from a personal viewpoint, if I was to have my spouse or parent or something like that pass away, the last thing I would want is someone to dump my loved one on the ground because the cot's garbage. I mean, that's also where I kind of look at this from, is just more respect for the loved one, I mean, that are still standing there.
How much did you say?
They're about $5,000. And then I called Furno directly about these, and they say they only sell through wholesalers. They gave me 2 different websites, and they were within like $100 of each other. But is why both Kelly and Tiffany recommend the Minimax, is because we as a society are getting bigger, like not taller, but bigger. And that one's rated up to 1,000 pounds.
We don't get that big. I understand what you're saying. It just seems like a lot of money.
I wonder, you talk to any other coroners around if they all utilize, if they.
I just talked to the 2.
Just like county coroners, it'd be interesting to, I guess my thoughts are, it'd be nice to communicate with some of those and just say, by chance, where did you get your, you know, instead of buying the brand new for $5,000 right off the bat.
Most, like every corner around here, except for I think Falk, and they rely on the funeral home up there. But they're almost all the funeral homes, so they buy them as a business for their funeral home too.
Right.
So like the corner out of Beetle County is Cooler. Out of Spink, it's Hyde. He's got the funeral home up there. Hyde is Tiffany. She's got a funeral service there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess one way to look at it is, we've got the van, we've got the cut. Got set up, or whoever, then the county is actually set up for whoever the coroner is. And I'm assuming that if they don't wear out, if we were to say we gotta get rid of it, that's a common option. Or you need some stress, something, we're gonna lose $5,000. On the value.
Right.
Might lose 1,000 or 1,500. I will make the motion to approve the purchasing of the
Furno, Ferno.
I'll make a motion to approve that purchase of that up to $5,000.
I mean, and that was like on the website. I don't know if they're shipping with that or not. That was off the websites.
For no stretcher.
It's a pretty unique name.
Because they're called mortuary cots is what these would be.
Yeah.
So when I called Furno, that I had mortuary mall, I think it is, has them for sale, and then Vischers, Vischcher, or something like that.
Well, there's a motion. You have a second? Rich has got the second to approve purchase of a cot for the corner. Is there any discussion? Doug, can you use this to lift your
Here's a,
collection equipment into the van?
Yeah.
Trying to just get as many dual purposes out of this stuff as we can.
here's a Furno 24 mini max mortuary cot for $39.95. It says, if you can trust the site.
Is that Temu or Temu?
Because I even looked on Amazon to see if they sold them off Amazon. I couldn't find them there.
Save 30% in stock.
Any further discussion?
Mortuary
Yeah.
mall.
I would just say, like I said, at least this way we're finally set up for whoever is coming coroner, that we've got the supplies we need. Supplies and equipment, I guess I should say.
All in favor? Or go ahead, sorry.
Greg, where did you find that cop for $39.95?
Sales marker carts dot shop.
Oh,
This is real, we promise.
I was going to say, I don't know if you want to put the county credit card in there or not, but
well, do your diligence and search around a little bit, I guess I would say.
according to Furno, like they gave me the two websites. They're like, these are the two we'd go to. So
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, John. I changed my mind on the break, and I think we'll need to go to executive session anyway after the break. Told Elton we'd be at 3:30, so
Back at 3:30?
back at 3:30.
Make a motion.
We calling you?
And I guess, do you want to do executive session now? Or do the motion to go into?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to go into executive
A
session.
second?
You can take your break.
Well, I got a motion and a second to enter executive session for legal matter
Commencing at 3 o'clock.
commencing at 3:30. We'll take a short break.
3:30?
3:30, right? Yeah. 6-minute break. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
On your phone.
I'm just gonna call.
Oh, you're gonna call. Okay.